Welcome to another episode of the Bad Writers podcast with Burt Noa. It's again a solo episode because we have so many guests on this fucking podcast. It's crazy. Too many guests. But now we're going to get into something interesting. Today, finally. I have a book here. Exactly. I have a book here with all quotes and wisdom and anything to do with writing and storytelling and things that you can learn about, like how to... like tips to help you forward. So I'm going to go through like 10 of them today, and we're going to discuss them, see if they work. Maybe some of them are stupid. Maybe some of them are outdated. You know, the things change all the time. I'm just going to check it and see what we have in here. Okay, I'm just going to go for the first one I wrote.
Screenwriting tips. Let's hear it. Straight from the mind of Burt Burlington.
Well, not all of them are mine. Definitely not. These are things that I've just learned through the years. All right, the quote is, real writers know how to make great stories from the banal. Bad writers make the bad writers make the epic into a sludge fest. That's from story from Robert McKee. Okay. In the sense, like what he means with that is that a lot of people think like, oh, I need a story with like epic characters, a lot of characters, dragons, fucking. But then you just see it and it's just like, bleh. You know, look at the Amazon show from Lord of the Rings. You know, we had that. Tolkien nailed it. He had the epic story and he made it epic. And then they get the entire world, all the things they want, and it's just boring.
So you're saying basically that you can get a good story from anywhere. It doesn't have to be epic. It can be just something. I mean, yeah, we had the idea for a guy who is a pent. You know, he collects bottles.
Exactly.
And then you can do a story from that.
And that's exciting stuff, you know.
I mean, it's Past Lives. Isn't that what it's called? Is that no? It's a different movie. It's about. It's
I
just
thought
about
it was a genre.
No. There's a dude who's is Korean movie, I think, or maybe it's Japanese, and he's a toilet cleaner.
Asian.
East
Asian.
A
toilet cleaner.
He's a toilet cleaner.
Yeah. What movies like with a low like small ID.
Well, I guess mockumentaries. You get like The Office.
The Office is gorgeous.
Parks and Rec.
Silly people still a bit very silly,
but still a set in an office. Small things.
Oh no, The Beach Bum is also quite big.
Fuck The Beach Bum.
Yeah, that's a boring film. That's like a bit. It's a.
I was surprised how many people like
Clerks, for example, is perfect. Clerks is small. That's why it became such a beauty. You know, it's like a small thing. Like Clerks and Office is all the same. You know, just office drama, but like. They just get a story and you take everything out of it, and I think that's what I think makes it.
Make something you find interesting. Doesn't have to be epic and crazy. You can just make a great story like Clerks that's set in a store and it's through dialogue completely.
Yeah, exactly. Great stuff. Because a lot of people think like, oh, I need to have like I always felt that when I wanted to start writing,
you need something
I felt like because I got inspired by Game of Thrones, I felt like I need to do the same thing. 5 books, 500 pages each, 16 different countries. Crazy. That's not. I didn't have a story to tell.
You don't have the budget for that.
Again, no. If I write it as a novel, let's go to another one.
All right, next quote.
Try not to create art films and stories because they are not Hollywood. Create films and stories you want to tell, and realize they are not really Hollywood. So.
Okay. Don't write for Hollywood. Write for yourself.
No, it's like almost. It's like nowadays people think like Hollywood is necessarily bad. Like it's just Hollywood, you know. It's just all like Marvel and stuff, and like, but like Hollywood still makes great films, you know. Like La La Land is a Hollywood film, and everybody loves it. Everything All at Once, I think, also like classic Hollywood film. You know, Hollywood does.
It's an A24 film.
Yeah, but that's the thing, exactly. Because Hollywood is not necessarily bad, but then you have people that just want to be different because to be different, because they just don't want to. I'm talking about like independent filmmakers, like those ones that just like I'm just gonna create art, you know. The Lars von Trier type of guys, but then bad, even worse than Lars von Trier. He makes some good films. I will watch more Lars von Trier, but it's like, don't you feel like that there are people that feel like I'm not gonna do what like they go against all like.
Yeah,
there are no rules in writing, I think, but there are like rules, like there's principle. Guidelines, you know, like a good story is where a character has a problem and they want to overcome it and they have a desire. Yeah, that's like you don't necessarily need that, but you better have a very good idea then.
Yeah, or you have like a very unique way of saying it. Like you can have unique like cinematography or unique kind of like if you do Eraserhead, David Lynch, for example, that's like very strange.
If it's still intriguing, great. Yeah, exactly. Like it looks fucking
and it's like
weird,
art house.
You know?
But like A24 is a great kind of example where they kind of break the norm a lot, but they do it very well, I think. But then some of them they like I did a research on it. And they do like 20 films a year, and like half of those films you don't even see. But that's like let the directors and the writers be as creative as they want, and no producer input, which I love.
And sometimes it works, and sometimes it's shit. And that's the movies I'm talking about. Those movies. Those movies go onto the thing because like they know, like, well, we messed up with this one. You know, this is how it is. It's hard to talk about this movie because they normally don't face like. But it's like the amateur movies. Like we read a script of someone, not a student at BIM, just saying, and it was just like there was no point.
No,
and because it didn't think about like what is their desire.
But I don't think that was trying to be brave either. I think it was just poorly written.
Is it that? Yeah, because
I don't think it was trying to be different.
How do you not know like that a character has to be a desire? Like he had problems. That's a good point. The character had problems. He was an alcoholic. He was trying to. Well, he wasn't trying anything. He was. This is all the story was. He was alcoholic. He got his sister who was mentally disabled, and he had to sort of care for her, but he didn't really. He just I will do that, sure, and. That was the film, you know.
I mean, yeah, I think, like you said,
it could still be interesting. Now that
if you tell it, I don't think there has to be a specific like. Of course, there's no like set way to tell a story, obviously, and but it's a good thing to know the rules to then break them.
Exactly, and I like that too.
You can tell when people don't know those rules and just decide to like, I'm gonna write whatever the fuck I want, or
that can be quote number 3, like, know the rules.
Yeah.
Just so you can break.
Like you don't
later.
have to. Don't reading the books like Robert McKee and all these different books, even Sid Field, all these kind of different writing books. It's a great thing to do so that you have them in the toolbox, but you don't have to use those.
No. Sometimes they're like, oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that can work. Yeah. And it's funny, like I got shit on, you know, because I was watching Charlie Kaufman's adaptation, and it was like a writer trying to write something, and Robert McKee's idea, like storybook and everything. I'm reading story right now because it's just so much. Yeah. But I want to just get wisdom from everything because I have a lot of things in here. Yeah. It's not only Robert McKee has all the answers; he doesn't. But like he was just shitting, and I was like, oh, damn it! I was watching this movie, and I love Charlie Kaufman. Like he was just fucking great, you know. Like the writing, I think the reason why he talked about Robert McKee and was like. He was saying like that's not real writing or it's not really how you should do it. I think, but he was fighting it because he was also failing at what he wanted to do. You know, I think it was clear that he was trying to show like, yes, I'm not saying you should go completely Robert McKee, but there are still things you can learn from him. But he's not right about everything. That's just what he was saying. He was saying it's gonna be great. He wasn't like shitting on like whoever. It's not like this people like. I also want to be a comedian, and I know this podcast is fucking funny as hell right now. But like, it's the thing with like, if you go to a comedy course to be funny, in any way, stand-up comedy, whatever, I think you already failed. I think you can't learn funny. You can't go to a comedy course and just become funny.
That's probably.
And I have the same thing with writing. You think like writing is like.
I think you can learn to write.
Yeah, but by yourself, it has to come from. You can't go to school and then they can teach you to be a nice script writer.
No, sure, that's true. No, but they can teach you the way to get that kind of inner bit that you already have, like that inner talent, inner desire, I guess, and maybe make that like possible. Yeah, it's like. Take a football player. It's like Lionel Messi. Let's take. He's like complete natural, the best footballer. Ever. Yeah. But if he didn't train, obviously, then he wouldn't be.
No, definitely. That's
it's kind of like that. But he's got that natural.
And he has autism. Agility. That's also big.
Yeah, probably.
That's pretty well.
I think he has autism.
Which writers do you think like have proper autism?
The writers.
Like I think like.
Which writers?
Yeah, like.
It's got to be fucking.
George R. Martin.
No,
J.R. Tolkien.
No, come on.
Charlie Kaufman.
No. Dude, the dude who showers every time. What's his name again?
Gordon Ramsay.
No.
Aaron Sorkin. Definitely, motherfuckers.
That's autism.
He's also gay. No, he's not gay.
I don't think he's gay.
He just is a bit.
Maybe he's gay.
No, he's a little bit.
But
he likes musicals and Broadway. You know, that's pretty fucking.
That dude showers every time. He feels that he has to have a new idea or a new scene, then he showers. And he showers like 5-6 times a day. That's crazy. It might not be autism. Maybe it's like OCD actually or some shit.
Yeah, he probably has. And I have some Aaron Sorkin in here right now. So
let's go some Aaron Sorkin.
He also likes to drive a car. Like when he's... I do like... all right.
I get that.
Tell me if this theory is stupid. So I like the idea... Like when he's in a... When he just showered 3 times in a row and he's still stuck on a story, right? He likes to go for a drive. And... Is it a mental thing where you like drive a car and because your car is going forward?
Yeah, maybe.
Is that you think the story your ideas are going forward. So you trick your brain into thinking that you're actually going forward in your story.
I think so. I also think that you're focusing on the drive like a little bit, like just turning left.
You should.
So you have it
driving.
You should. So in the backlog of your brain, it's like it's working.
Yeah, right. Yeah, my brother just said like, no, you're fucking retarded. And I was like, okay. And then I felt bad. And that's just mean. Aaron Sorkin. Make things as interesting as possible, as quickly as possible.
Yeah, he's got that 15-page rule.
Yeah, and that makes sense.
By page 15, if it's not interesting and hitting the ground running, then throw it out. That's kind of his whole. Yeah, that's his shtick.
Yeah, and that makes sense.
It makes sense. I
think even less. Like the earlier you grab people, the better.
Yeah. What was that movie we watched where, dude, the intro was like 15 minutes long and it was a shit movie too.
Pacific Rim.
It was Pacific Rim. Well, remember that intro?
Well, it wasn't really an intro. They put the titles up like
15 minutes later.
Yeah, that's crazy. I felt like 40. And I was already sick of the movie.
I don't like the movie.
If you already don't like the movie when the credits are shown, then that's bad. So I know I finished that movie.
We did, yeah.
It's robots fighting
aliens. Movies.
Well,
we even finished Tusk.
We did. Oh, that was a tough movie, guys.
That was a tough one.
Yeah, that didn't make things interesting. It was just podcasters.
Yeah,
who fucking watches podcasts?
Yeah, who the fuck does that?
And then he goes to this thing, and the scenes were long. But like,
we'll make an episode on Tusk.
Yeah, 100%. And we're gonna hate on it.
Horrible.
But it was still impressive.
Maybe we'll drink for it.
Oh yeah.
No.
But that makes things interesting possible. And 15 pages. Yeah, a good idea. Grab them as early as possible. Yeah. That's the best thing, I think. That's just how you do it. Yeah, here it is. The first 15 pages are the most important.
There you go.
It's where that's the things that the agents and the producers read, and that they get excited for that one. And that's what he said. He said, like, so the first 15 pages are going to be the most important because that's what they're going to read. And if they're like, I actually want to see more of this movie. If your ending and middle are kind of bad, they would still like could you send a new draft?
They can still edit it.
Yeah, they will, and they want to because they it's something. The first thing that's grabbing, and I think that's a great tip. I try to like make my first 15 pages or the first pages the best.
It's tough if you want to make like a slow grind film, like I mean, even like I'll take Ari Aster's Midsommar. That's like a movie that's so slow, right? It's like 2.5 hours, very slow.
Yeah.
And not much happens. It's like a slow burn. But in the first 15 minutes, there is like the insinuating incident, the inciting incident kind of. Yeah. And that's pretty interesting. And then that's what the sets it forward.
When is the inciting incident? You think like only like 15 minutes in? Like that's normal. That's the.
Yeah. I think it could be in the first minute as long as it's, some movies start in the action, like Joker in Dark Knight. That starts straight in the heist. That's one of the best things.
That's great. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You jump right into
Saving Private Ryan as well.
Oh Jesus Christ, that's good shit. That's good shit, and that's why like in the first 3 pages, you grab us, and I like that.
And watch out with your second act because a lot of people. Second act's usually where it gets boring.
Yeah. So keeping with Aaron Sorkin, he said, "Keep tracking your progress to keep you happy and motivated." That's something I don't do.
No, I don't do that either.
No,
that's also something we have to do better. Is just write more consistently.
Yeah,
as well.
So we have no progress. So what can we be happy about? Yeah, that's. Do you have any quotes about trying to become more prolific as a writer?
Like consistency and writing?
You have anything? You heard anything?
I think we get Leslie on for that because she knows.
Leslie, 100%.
She's awesome. We'll get her on at some point. She's a great writer and a fantastic mentor. And a great person.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, keep tracking your progress to keep you happy and motivated. Like, we are not motivated because we're scared that we I don't know.
Right.
Like, shit. Yeah, but you will. Oh, that's a great one. I like that quote about, I think it's Dan Harmon. I'm gonna paraphrase him, but he said, writer's block. How to combat writer's block is just by writing, and you're gonna write shit. You just are. You will. Yeah. But if you want to become a better writer, you just have to write more.
That's the whole thing. Writers are good editors, not first drafters. I think that was.
That's a good quote.
That's a quote. That's
nice, nice quote. Then
I think that's Taika Waititi said that quote.
Oh wow, that's a name I can't spell. So that's a problem.
I think he said it.
Nice.
And yeah, so that's true. You're always gonna write shit. We wrote a script that we've been working on since November, and we thought it was pretty good. And I think we've written it 9-10 times, I think. And that's even like quite a low number, I think. Like
7.
Some people,
we wrote
is
7 times,
okay,
but sometimes we made small changes, but then we kept it the same draft. So if you really wanted the draft, we went over 10 easily.
I have
and that's a short film, all right? Feature
minutes.
films, fuck me. This was a 50-minute, one-scene film, all right? Dialogue-driven, that's why. But do a feature film, I think you have to be between above 30, 40 drafts.
Yeah,
100%.
So.
Like, that's crazy
for,
if you can't.
Darwin's Fox, which is the 40-minute film, 35 minute film.
I think.
That was rewritten, like, I think he said 24 times, I think.
And that's
crazy.
Yeah, that is. And anything can happen, like anything. And it's so funny how that works. I don't know a quote from it, but you would write something and the story goes like this. Oh, I have a Stephen King quote. The story goes like this, and then you get a feedback, and then you tell the story like this or something, right? And then they say like, I don't like it, so you tell the story like this, right? You know. And then they say like, maybe do this, and then you tell the story again like this, but a little bit different, and they say like, that's good, and that's just how it works, you know. But you didn't lose any time, and that's the tracking process. You still wrote, you still made something, you still learned how to tell those stories, and you use those other techniques. You have to be more positive. I think that's one of the things. Yeah. Speaking of first drafts, one of the things I really liked, this really stuck with me. Stephen King, he's not really a writer you should like try and be, because it's just like it's the messy, you know.
That's impossible.
But the thing is, like, he says, the first draft you write with the door closed. Yeah. The second draft you write with the door open, meaning you just tell the story you want to tell, and you don't tell the story that other people want to tell.
I think it's kind of similar to, I think, Greta Gerwig, director of Barbie and Lady Bird and Little Women, said the first draft you write with your heart, and then the second and third and fourth you write with your brain.
With your brain, even.
Yeah, like you have to edit it and think.
You think
that's
a bit different? Like, you feel like I'm gonna tell this story. Like, I think you always have to write from the heart, then, right?
But with the brain, it's like then you let it in. Obviously, then you're like, now I need to make it more in this and make it more coherent and all the feedback and stuff. But like the first one, you just write your feelings.
That makes sense, because I think I take my brain into writing the first draft too much.
I think you do as well.
Because like you
said that though, you do. You think about it a lot in the first draft. Sorry, like.
I'm curious what you mean. But what I think I mean with this is that you write something, and then I'm like, oh, but shit, I haven't yet put that thing in there, so I have to go back and change it so that it works in the end. Maybe I shouldn't be thinking about this thing. Maybe I should just have the freedom, like, maybe I'm just gonna have a cowboy boy or something. I don't know, you know. And then like, did he say anything about cowboys? Did we have anything? Maybe I should like have an establishing shot of a cowboy. I don't know.
As far as I know from you, writing with you, when you do first drafts, it's on your own. I'm assuming this is just my assumption, because you read a lot of books and a lot of quotes and stuff. You have those constantly in your mind. So like, this guy needs a desire. This guy needs this. He needs this. He needs this. And it's like then you're thinking about that quite a lot instead of just writing it. And then that's something you think about in the second.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. That's a good one. I don't know if that's a quote. I will look for it and then I will put it right here. Is that those principles, those rules? They're not rules. Again, I know. There's also not even principles, but they are like parameters. You can check if you have it. Like, you test it, you prod it, you check it. Like, do I have like when I have a script, when you write a first draft, you know, like, I think this is good, I think this is funny. You always think that, you know, and then you give it to people, and then they just say it's not, you know. It's nice, and then you see it, and then they tell you like, oh yeah, it makes sense, yeah. Oh, that's why it's boring, because the guy is not trying anything. For example, I don't know.
I remember. Well, I'll find whoever said this as well. But this is more for filmmaking. They said, if you want to be a great filmmaker, you have to first be a great writer. And I quite like that.
That sounds good, yeah.
I do like that.
That makes sense, though.
It makes sense.
Because it's filmmaker, it's not cinematographer.
No, it's the filmmaker. Like, you have to
makes
understand
a lot
the
of
story,
sense.
and you should write it as well. And that's why, like, you know, Tarantino's got 9 films.
Yeah.
Each of them's like, you got your favorites, and you got some that are less good than others, but they're like amazing.
Still like entertaining, yeah.
Yeah. Christopher Nolan writes his own, you know, as well. You got
for a long time, motherfucker. Interstellar, how many years did he work on that?
I think he worked on, was it
10 years? Yeah,
like
it's crazy.
Crazy.
And that's the funny thing, you know. This is not necessarily a quote, but a thought, you know. This is something we always mistake. Like, when I would go in the cinema and I watch Interstellar, and I'm like, and I get demotivated because I feel like, I can't do that.
No, I
But
know.
Christopher Nolan couldn't do that. That's why it took 10 fucking years.
Yeah.
And he was already 30 at the point when he started. I'm not even 30 now.
Yeah,
I know, but it's like, that always gets us.
It is demotivating though. Like, watching
it's scary.
A great movie, you're like, fuck, I can't do that.
Now I see why And then you watch a shitty movie, and that gives you some.
Like, I can do that
yeah.
easily. I can do
but then
that.
again, I'm a pessimist, so I'm always like looking at these bad movies, and I'm like, it's not about talent. It's just about who you know, and then you can make these movies.
I would love that.
Yeah.
It's just that would be great. I saw a quote. I watched a podcast with Tarantino just to go on. It's quite funny. And he's a guy who, when he writes a draft, he doesn't really accept edits or like exterior feedback. He's like, this is it. This is how it's made. If you don't want to make it, I'm not making
any
it.
draft.
He makes the draft.
The first draft.
3 months, yeah, but he fixes it himself. And then within 3 months, he says he has the final draft. And anyone wants to change
no
it,
one checked it.
No, he's like, this is it.
Wow.
Yeah, he's crazy.
That is kind of crazy.
Like, this is it. And if anybody has any feedback, he's like, no, this is it. And if you don't want to do it, I'll make a movie with some other company. That's what he does.
Wow.
Right? And he wrote Natural Born Killers, which is a film that's very heralded film with Woody Harrelson.
Mm-hmm.
And he wrote it, and he gave it to this director. And then the director changed some of the...
No, you don't want to do that with Quentin Tarantino.
Changed some of the script, and then gave it back to Quentin Tarantino.
Mm-hmm.
And Tarantino was furious.
It makes sense. Like, you put all that fucking effort in it.
Furious. And then they made the movie, and remember, Tarantino's the main writer, and would get paid millions.
Yeah.
And he demanded they took his name completely off the script. Insane. Yeah, and in the podcast, he's like, I don't want to be associated with that piece of shit movie.
Wow.
Yeah, he's
that's
furious.
Cute. And that's like we know who fucked it up. Like, it's the director, then. So we know that they fucking
the movie got a 4.2 on Letterboxd. The scene that Tarantino hates is like infamous with people loving that scene. And the podcast, he was on a podcast. The podcast was like, oh, that's my favorite scene. He's like, yeah, I know, and everybody loves it. I hate it. I hate it so much. I didn't write it. I don't want that in there. And he just went, yeah, it's very interesting.
I don't think I'm that I would still get the millions, and I'm like, I don't like the movie.
That's how Tarantino said he got Reservoir Dogs. Was just bravado. Purely bravado, he said. Was just from being like, nope, I make it, and this is how I make it. And if you don't want it, I'll make the movie somewhere else.
Wow.
And then the companies were like, all right, well, we'll make it your way. Like, he just 100% just bravado.
Yeah.
Like, I got it, sir.
It's
But that's a scary thing, having bravado. Imagine you have a room full of suits who are saying your script is not good and they won't make it unless this changes. And then you are like, nope, this is exactly how it's going to be.
I like to think about that. I would, I would try to be more diplomatic about it. He's more like a dictator, I think, in that room. I would say like, well, you say that, but then if we look at this movie, that's why they fucked it up. I would just like, yeah, but can we make it a disabled black woman? And it's like, well, we looked at it, and that didn't work in this movie, and you still want to, I'd
love to think of myself as a Tarantino, but I think it's difficult when you're in that room,
especially
you're like,
if you're not Tarantino yet.
Yeah, I know.
But like, it also has its
He
flaws.
wrote Reservoir Dogs at 27, I think.
Yeah, we have to get going. And we have to start writing feature films. That's why I have these quotes in him. It's like, the thing is, but it has flaws. Just tangent. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood would have been better if it was filmed. If he got some more feedback, like how to like tell the story, because I feel like there were some things that just like he talked, and I felt like there wasn't that much substance. I don't think there was. I didn't like it.
I know you didn't like it. I liked it.
No, I didn't like it.
I
think we need more desires. Am I right, Robert McKee?
Let's do 2 more quotes, and then I want to hear your. And then I think we should pitch very quickly the feature film you want to write. Just a very quick pitch.
Okay.
And then I'll pitch my feature film I want to write, and then we can have little updates on that throughout the podcast.
All right, cool. I love that. That's a good thing. This is a lovely one. This is one of the best ones. All right, sit down for this one. This is a Neil Gaiman. Neil the Gay Man. Rewriting is where you go back to what you have written and pretend you know what you were doing all along, from the start.
It's a classic.
Yeah, it's just like, it makes a lot of sense. It's just like, you don't have to write. Some people think they have to write the first perfect draft. They think they have to be perfect. That's ridiculous.
I thought that a lot as well.
Yeah, it's unattainable.
You have to rewrite. That's the thing. I know
and
so many writers who refuse to do it.
If you want to be a good writer, it's all in. You have to be a good rewriter. I think that's what it is all about.
Yep.
This one I learned from Dante Harper. He's a screenwriter in the U.S. and he wrote Edge of Tomorrow. But not really, because they changed his film.
No, but he still got paid a lot of money.
Well, he only sold the script, and then they could do with it whatever they wanted. But he wasn't the Quentin Tarantino in the room.
No, but he still got the money.
He said 15 pages, again, so maybe there's some wisdom here. If you don't know what genre you are heading at page 15, you're in a big problem. So like on page 15, or like on that minute, like a page is equivalent to a minute on screen, if at 15 minutes people can't really know like what genre you're watching or seeing or whatever, or even worse, what you're writing, you're
I think that's true.
I
think it's true for some things. Like comedy is true.
Some things that you can change and it can be refreshing, but like I don't like when like a comedy's fun, but then when a comedy changes into a romance and it's more about the romance and not about the then I'm like, I don't care that much. Like it ruins the comedy. Like I thought we were having a good time and now it's like, yeah, okay, love is important, but I came here to watch a comedy, you know? Keep it comedy. Sci-fi, you can change a sci-fi into a Western. That sounds fun. That sounds refreshing. Like, but then keep it a little bit like sci-fi. But they are pretending to be cowboys. That's fun because like they land on a planet or they get crash lands and then they are on a Western civilization and then no, that's still sci-fi. I like that. That's fine.
Yeah.
But so you can change it.
I suppose I've seen some horror movies as well that like. Yeah, I suppose I don't like it either when a movie's like goes as a horror movie. And then towards the end, it stops being horror and goes to more action. I think here's a great expectation of that. This is also for video games. Resident Evil. Some of those games are amazing. But I can't remember which one it is. Maybe it's 8 or something like that. But anyways, it started out horror and slow and scary. And it's more like survival horror. And then halfway through the game, suddenly it's an action game. And you're just running around, explosions. You got machine guns.
Exactly. That's not cool.
That's not what I signed up for.
And like a movie example of that is like Scream 6. Where in New York. And I liked it. I thought it was a fun movie. It was a slasher. That's fine.
It's also like a meta comedy.
Yeah,
slasher,
but then at the end, it just became less slashery and more like action.
Remember the guy running with a gun?
Pistol, and it was just so silly. And I was like, are you trying to be comedic now? Like, were we trying to be? Is it a scary movie? Was this a scary movie then? Is it a comedy? And that's like you didn't really expect that to happen, you know?
So yeah, if you making a horror movie, keep it horror. A lot of horror movies like to go a bit more action towards the end. Makes sense because it's the climax.
Just running around, just trying to get away from the killer, or maybe killing the killer.
Yeah, exactly. That's fine. Just don't go
but not too
full
much.
action.
Not like the last act.
Yeah.
Maybe like the last scene, like the climax. Would be like that's why I would keep. Don't like change it into a different movie. The last act. That's like ugh. I will get sick of that.
Yeah. Right. There are some tips. Now I guess we're both just gonna pitch. Just a very quick pitch. Just what you want to write.
Let's do the elevator pitch. Let's put some drama on this. Let's put a timer on this.
Oh God, practice on the spot.
Because we do it elevator pitch. You know, that's something you have to learn too.
It's true. Was that 30 seconds?
30 seconds. That's the.
We
all know that's the average time of an elevator.
Yeah, it's true.
1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, go. Easy peasy.
So I go first?
You go first.
All right. I'm going to try.
All right. I got a timer here, guys.
Okay.
Put a timer in the bottom here. If I can do that in edit, I don't know how that works. All right. 1, 2, 3, go.
All right. Mine is a sci-fi thriller horror. And it follows Eleanor, who is a mother and wife in the 18th century town, an American 18th century town. However, she can't sleep. It seems like all the people can't sleep in the entire town. And then when she slowly starts to be able to fall asleep, she starts getting horrifying visions. And those visions get accentuated and turned up higher than when she goes towards the water's edge. And then things start to happen in the town, and fuck, God, see that was hard.
Yeah, it's I think we're not gonna practice like 30 seconds, but I think if you said like genre, I think genre is important.
Sci-fi thriller.
It's a sci-fi thriller, right?
Sci-fi horror.
And that's get my dick hard. So
but I gotta see. There you go. That's all you get. I gotta practice that. Make that long. That more concise. But I haven't written it yet. So.
Like imagine if you can do that like at a networking event, and you say like it's a sci-fi thriller about a woman slowly growing insane. Yeah. Or maybe not. Or like sane. I don't know. That's all. Like I don't know what it is.
Or sane. Yeah.
Or maybe she becomes more sane. Yeah.
It's tough. See. We'll try this. We're
gonna do this more.
So we'll do more. That was terrible. So I know that was terrible. All right, ready? And
we are thinking about things.
3, 2, 1, go.
All right. So there's a man in his late 20s, and his name is Daniel, and he is depressed. He's very depressed, and he attempts to kill himself, but he survives, and he is taken into care at a hospital. And instead of them having him in a homely care, they put him in a nursery home for elderly, because there's no space in a normal hospital for him. And there he gets even more unhappy because he can't connect with people his age.
That's it.
Fuck.
It's tough. So that was good. I mean, you laid the foundation. You laid the
I didn't
inciting
say
incident.
the genre. I just learned from you. Didn't.
And I didn't say the inciting incident.
But what's the genre?
You said the inciting incident.
That's a good.
So I didn't say that.
Because that's all I was thinking about.
Yeah.
What genre do you think it was?
So I know the genre because you told me this before, but just from that pitch.
Did you think it came over?
No.
No, right?
Because you didn't say that it's more like an Awakenings. That's the movie Awakenings. It's more like a feel good.
It's a drama. It's a tragedy that turns into a and it's some comedy and an uplifting thing. Yeah. It's just this type of story. Like, things are bad, but they get better.
Yeah, exactly.
Or maybe not, But that's the thing. Maybe did I fuck up? Because like, if it's a tragedy and things are bad, or drama, and things get better, did I change the genre then? But in a good way, right? It's still,
because all we got from that pitch was that he's depressed and things get worse when he's in a nursing home.
Yeah. And which they should,
Yeah.
I think it's like...
And I didn't give an inciting incident either, so I was just like, she wakes up.
So as you can see, like, we don't know how to do everything, and that's why we learn from these quotes and things we can learn from, and we're going to try and practice this, and I think you should practice this as well. Try and go to your mom right now when she's cooking dinner, and you say, Mom, can I pitch this movie? And she's going to be like, shut up, I don't care. What movies?
Then go to your dad.
Yeah, just go to your dad.
And he'll be watching football, and he won't really pay attention. That's fine.
But just practice on him.
And practice on random people. I've heard that going up to strangers and asking, "Hey, can I just pitch this 30-second movie to you?" People like it. They're like, "Oh, thanks. You want my opinion?" Apparently
cool.
They like it.
I like that. Let's just do.
I was thinking we should try that. Just pitch it to random people that speak English, obviously here in Berlin.
Could be a video.
That should be a video.
Pitching things and just see how they react.
And see if people hate it or not.
But that's a different video from the Bad Writers. Yep. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, and there's more Bad Writers coming every Sunday. So check it out. All right. Have a nice day.